so excited to have you all here with us today. If you haven't joined us before, this is our Quantum Jumpstart Q&A. We host these with the wonderful Maria, who is a Dr. Joe meditation assist. She is a green hat at the events and is also an NCS trainer who is HeartMath certified. So she is no beginner to the work, but is humble as they come. And we like to have these Q&As every so often to kind of come together in community to allow people to really like reconnect with the work, speak about anything that's coming up, just kind of come together as this opportunity to kind of grow and evolve our experience and do it in community. So we're going to host things off. It's going to be really informal to start. We just want everybody to kind of like raise their hand, use the raise your hand function if you have a question. And we're just going to kind of go down the line and start going through things this way. Also, if you have a question that you want to send in that you don't want to share live, you're welcome to pop it in the chat or message it to me and I will read it for Maria to read aloud. And that's kind of how we'll get into things. We are going to finish up today's session with a meditation and we're going to do Dr. Joe's Generating Joy. So with that in mind, is there anybody that has an initial question that wants to kick us off?
Hey, Sophia.
Hi.
I am sorry, I'm without camera, guys, but I can ask.
No worries. Thanks for joining us.
My question is, what is the balance between thinking in this 3D world, how to prepare the tasks? Like I have a goal in my mind, and I have two ways to go for it. One way is to sit down and think the plan on how to do what tasks to do. It's like more like matter to matter. But what I learned from the retreat.
Oh, sorry, Titus. I think you went on mute.
Yeah.
There we go.
I don't know. Yeah, now can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So after learning from the retreat, I found like a new way so that you don't need to think of the plan, what you need to achieve, but you are more attracting that goal to come to you. And I'm now having this little bit of confusion. So how much effort I should put to sit down and meditate and more focus on attracting that goal? And how much should I like really sit down and think of the plan on how to achieve it? You know what I mean?
Yes, I hear you. I hear you.
I'm now kind of, yeah, thank you.
Okay, Titus. Thank you for that question. And I believe many of us here can relate to that. Many of us can relate around having a goal, having a dream, having something that we really want to either accomplish or become or, anything. And then it is, how do we get there? And I love how you said it, like, okay, we need to find this balance between the 3D world and the 5D world. So let me just clarify one thing with you, Titus, before I get into how I see it. When you think about that goal, are you still there?
Yeah, they just don't let me to unmute myself, but I'm listening and I'm very excited to hear it.
Okay. So when you think about that goal in your mind, what is the emotion that you feel, that you experience, that you notice in your body around that goal, around that dream?
Oh, right. Now, yeah, sometimes they don't let me to unmute, but thank you, Sophia. My emotion is that I feel love for life. I feel totally trusting life. It's like having a peace, walking on the street and feeling like you're on top of the world. Like everything is around you is just peace.
Okay. Okay.
It's like calmness in a way, like, and living in a creator mode. Like,
Now, is that how you feel about that goal in specific?
yes, it's
Okay.
the goal is on earning income. I feel if I will earn that income, I will have that lifestyle where I will, yeah. So that's the feelings I get from that goal.
Okay.
The emotions I would feel if I.
And how much trust do you have from 1 to 10? And how much doubt do you have from 1 to 10 regarding that goal?
For achieving, I have trust about 8, and doubt is I would say maybe 4 or 5.
Okay. Okay, there you go. I got you, Titus. Because in this work, we really have to have a clear intention. We really need to know what that goal looks like, what that dream looks like, what a healthy body, a healthy condition looks like. But then the other part of the equation, which is as important as that clear intention, is what is the emotion that you have there. And there's always, we are kind of dancing between doubt and certainty. And we have to surrender more to the certainty, but we have to work. That's the part that you need to put your entire body to work on. And that is on that 4 that you have on doubt. That is when you wake up every morning and you do the work, one day at a time, on that emotion. And how do you do that? You may ask, well, if you attended an event, you have like a very, very rich sushi menu of meditations, either sitting down, even laying down, walking out. You need to find your best way, but just in order for you to work on that emotion. This is a full-time job. This is nothing that you can just think about and leave it there. And you know what? Maybe tomorrow, Titus, you're going to wake up, you're going to do the meditation, and you're going to still notice doubt. And it's okay. It is okay to have doubt because we have been wired not to believe that we are the creators of our life. We have been trained for so many years. Even our ancestors have been trained in that way. So we have that in our DNA, and it's okay. But the more we work on it, the more you're going to, get closer and closer to zero doubt. And when that happens, and probably even not when you hit 0, just getting closer, you will start noticing coincidences, synchronicities in your life that are going to help you believe more in your job, in your full-time job. And then there's no way you're going to skip the meditation the day after.
Nice.
Make sense?
I see. It's very well explained. Means that it doesn't matter. I can still be performing in 3D, going through those task lists, but my goal is should be feeling that emotion. Whenever if I feel that emotion, I can do like, yeah, whatever I want. And very good point. Focusing on increasing that trust and on lowering that doubt and find my own way, which will help me to achieve that. Nice.
Exactly. And you have to take action because we live in the 3D world too. So, we always say we have to live with one foot on the 3D and with one foot on the 5D. We have to take action.
Yeah, nice. You are very well explained. Thank you.
Thank you, Titus.
So this is very subtle. I need to be aware of my emotions. How do I feel when I walk on that street? How do I feel if I see somebody driving with a rich car? And if I see that it gives me some doubt, I need to come back to that feeling and start like finding that door which helps me to bring that trust again, right?
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm very glad you explained it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Titus.
Next up, would love to invite Anya up if you would like to have your question answered.
Yes. Hello, everybody. My question to Maria, or to ask for an advice, would be, I do the Dr. Job work since a year now, and I mostly do it with a group together, and I realized I was at the week long in Cancun in February, and since then I realized more improvements. I had two very, for me, magic moments where I felt the energy flowing through the body, and a second one, which it's about my question too, is we did the Baltic 10 with the group together, and in that meditation, my heart cramped 2 times and suddenly opened up. And it was maybe 2 seconds, but a really magic moment. It was like picking a needle in the heart and thousands of millions of stars coming out. So this was very special and very magic. But to my question, I also want to improve my HRV value. And some weeks ago, I bought this in a balance coherence plus thing. And sometimes I wear it during a meditation. So I had this magic moment, and I concentrated on the voice of Dr. Joe, go with the flow, and felt really good. But the measure of the HRV was very, very bad, nearly 0, as if I had died. So I asked myself, should I more go with the flow, or maybe concentrate more on the HRV value and the breath work, not to become or to get bad breath patterns? Do you have an advice for me to do shorter breath work to improve my heart coherence, or to go with the flow to experience more of these magic moments and don't think too much of HRV values?
Oh, that is it's a beautiful question, Anya, and it's also kind of an advanced question, because what I'm hearing is that you are very committed to this work, and you even participate in group meditations, and then you are exploring new meditations, and then you went through this Baltic 10, but your analytical mind is also very aware and wants to know and wants to get it and wants to make sense of it. And it's another very good example of what we were discussing with Titus, is this, balance between what we are experiencing as we start bringing our attention all the way in to the heart, and your heart literally has been exploding. Like, how awesome is that? But with all due respect, Anna, your little mind just can't figure it out. Your little mind is falling behind on what's going on in your entire mind, body, soul experience. Now, one important thing to know about the HeartMath devices, and to everyone here, maybe some of you have HeartMath devices, maybe some of you don't. With HeartMath devices, we measure our level of coherence in the heart. And the level of coherence is attained by getting into this very, gentle slow rhythm of inhaling and exhaling. And this is just like Dr. Joe starts every meditation. He says, take a breath and exhale and relax. So that is just the beginning of the process. And the more we practice that slow-paced breathing, we are kind of creating a different balance between our sympathetic nervous system and our parasympathetic nervous system. What is the sympathetic? When we are inhaling and when we are like pushing the gas pedal all the way to the bottom, when we are in beta, when we are reacting, when we are crossing a street. It's not that it's bad that we are in that state. We just need to operate in that state. But when you start getting and teaching your heart to get into a more coherent state, then that starts shifting and there's more balance in your nervous system. Now, what may happen when you're getting deep into a meditation is that your heart is beating at this very coherent state, or pace, and your monitor is showing you that on the screen. And by the way, Anna, you need to forget about that screen when you're going into meditation. So you're opening one eye and you're looking at the red and then you're going back. So don't do that. And then when you start relaxing more and more and you start going deeper, there's something that happens in your nervous system. And all of a sudden, your sympathetic starts switching on, but not from an arousal that is happening outside of you, not from a threat that your body is perceiving outside of you. It's coming from that energy that is coming and awakening from inside of you. And that's when the algorithm of the little HeartMath device just doesn't work. So it starts showing either incoherence or it gets in this kind of endless loops, like when you turn on your computer and it's not connecting. And that is something that happens because you're going, I'm sorry?
Sorry, I didn't look at the measure, at the value only at the end, but I asked myself, would I want to miss this magic moment instead to concentrate on the breath? I would say no, because maybe I was so in awe, maybe I stopped breathing. I can't remember because it was so special.
There you go. Beautiful. Beautiful. So you will always have the choice, but this is what is happening between your HRV and what is happening inside of you. That is there is kind of a glitch because you're probably going more into gamma. And when you go into gamma, which is a higher level of coherence, higher amplitude of waves and of energy, that device doesn't catch that. And it's okay. It's totally okay. It's even okay. You're having the experience of your life, seeing how your heart becomes like a interstellar kind of moment. And then with that, what I would also say is that still those devices are so useful because they kind of train your logic mind and remind you how to get more into coherence. It's like you do more push-ups every day, or you just bringing your attention back to your heart. And one great thing about the HeartMath devices is that the great you get the most out of them when you practice heart coherence on the go, when you're on the line in the supermarket, when you're driving, when you're walking, when you're having a difficult conversation with someone, when you're finding yourself reacting to something, and then you okay, I need to go back to that green, coherent hills and valleys kind of wave. So it is for me, is one of my best friends, to call it in a way, the HeartMath device. But it's also
maybe they are not usable for an hour or 2 hour meditations, but for practices, like you say, for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15, to concentrate on the breath, and not for the meditations where we get into different states of I don't know, feelings and movements and
Exactly.
brain waves.
Exactly. I love how you're saying. I think you're finding your formula, and that's the one that matters for you, the one that makes sense to you. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that.
Yeah.
Up next, I think we have Rachel.
Hi.
Oh, Rachel, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. It's 6 p.m. here, so it's okay. It's not like
Sweet.
2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So I have a tricky question. I'm going to try to be clear with my French-English thing. And so I looked at I was present at the streaming. I mean, I watched the replay of the stream, the fifth anniversary of Cancun, you know, with Dr.
Yes.
Joe. Okay.
Right.
And at the end, he explained everything about the meditation, the boxes meditation, and he explained how it works. And he gave an example of him, you know, with his appointment with Barry, and he had to catch. I mean, he didn't have
The flight.
whatever. So he played with that, and he tried to just surrender in the unknown and just have this picture of him with Barry. He was there at noon and feel all this emotion, and then draw his body there and did this exercise few times a day, every day, you know, and then he let it go. Finally, we all know what happens. And so then he say, okay, you can choose a problem in your life, you know, whatever it is, financial, wealth, whatever, and do the work during the meditation. And so I did the meditation with something that concerned me, but then I was wondering if we could do that for like someone for how children, kids, you know, like my son, because I know my son has some kind of trouble. And can we do that, you know, like picture we are in the quantum field and we picture something, we are with our son, or he's alone and he's full of joy, and the fact that I see him full of joy, bring me a lot of joy. And then it could, in this image, he doesn't have all his problem, and he's fine, and he's happy, and he's very confident, and so I'm very happy to see that. Does it work? I mean, if I do that, is it going to have an effect on, it's going to have an effect on me, that's for sure, but on him. Do you understand the question?
Yes, I understand.
This is something that pump up in my head, because I said, what can I choose, you know, now? So I choose myself, but then I said, what is the problem now? I mean, okay, financial problem or that, but the biggest problem, we say problem, it's not really a problem. It's a struggle or something, a challenge, you know, with my son. He's okay, but he has some kind of challenge in his life with food and all of that. He's a teenager, whatever. So this is very important in my life as a mother. So can I bring this in the quantum field? But it's not in the quantum field. There's no problem, like Dr. just said. There's just the mental image that he's fine, and you know everything is fine, and you know what. This is the question.
Okay. First of all, I so appreciate this question, Rachel, because I believe that all of us come to this work because we want to invest some time on us and we want to work on us. But at the same time, we have family, we have beloved ones. And when we experience what we experience in this work, we just want everyone around us to experience that same level of mind, that same level of consciousness, those emotions, the clarity that we get in this work, we really want, especially our kids and when they are teenagers. So I totally relate to that. Now, there are two things here that I believe are very important. One, there is free will. And this means that we cannot make other people think the way we want them to think or feel the way we want them to feel. So that is one very important thing. Now, the other one is, and I'm getting into the tightest conversation here. When you think about your son and when you think about his challenges, how do you feel about that? Just when your son comes to your mind.
Well, I feel that everything is okay and that he's going to make his own way, you know, through that. Nobody, I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. You know, usually it's like this. But there are some times where he's going through a crisis. He doesn't feel very well, and you know, and then he, you know, I have this voice saying everything is going to be fine. Everything is going to be fine, and don't worry. I mean, you trust him. You trust his divine self. You know.
Okay.
And that's
okay.
Some voice saying maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe I should do this. You know what?
Okay. Okay. So I hear worry, and I hear doubt about your entire experience. Now, again, this work is about going within and creating change from the inside out. So if emotions are the glue that connect us to people in our lives, because whenever you think about your son, then there is an emotion around or a bundle of emotions around that thought, because you have experienced your son for a lifetime, basically. And then if the emotion that you hold for that beautiful boy is doubt, is worry, is concern, Rachel, let me ask you one thing. What is the emotion that you would love to be able to hold for that sweet guy? Just a default that is probably not there now, but how would you like to feel about your son every time you think about him, every time you see a photo of him, every time you talk to him, every time you chat with him? How do you want to feel about that person?
Well, I would say as a mother, no, I would say, I mean, the first word that came is love, but I love him.
Okay, so love.
Love. But because each time I see him, I see that. But, you know, that's maybe it's not enough. It's the balance between.
Okay, there you go. So we want more love. We want a bigger love. We want to fill that cup of that box where you and your son are part of. And that new box is filled with love. But love, I mean the big love, the joyful love, the love that has certainty, the love that has no doubt, the love that is worry-free, that is free of worry. Because there's a knowing, and we have to watch our kids grow, and we have to watch them kind of sometimes fall and then get up again. But there is this certainty inside of you that he got it, and that every single effort that you have been investing in your own life, Rachel, is adding to his own experience, because that is what happens. And this is a very, very simple example of that at the very beginning of the advanced events, when Dr. Joe started sending us to do the walking meditations, he was still measuring, and he used a device called Sputnik. So he used to measure the energy in the room all the time, during meditations and outside of meditations. What they found out was that when people went out to the walking meditation, the energy in the room, and the room was empty, the energy in the room continued going up. So what he understood and what he explained to us was, when you are working on you, when you are working on your energy, and the same as Titus with his doubt, you have a job to do, Rachel, on worry and on doubt around your son. So the more you work on that, on those emotions, the energy outside of you, let's call it in your family field or in your energy field, is going to go up. So your son cannot hide from that energy. Your son cannot get away from that loving energy. So you are influencing the wave of your son's own world. Make sense?
Yeah.
So that means you have to show up even earlier and do it over and over again, because the more you work on yourself and on that glue that connects you with your son, the more you're going to influence his own field. And you're changing your box, and your son is in that box.
Yeah. So I'm doing this. I can do that with this meditation, or do I have to, because it was last night was the first time I did this meditation, and but usually I mean now for like a few months I meditate. I'm doing the blessing energy center. Can I work on it? I mean, can I work on this with the blessing, with the blessing energy center, or it's better to switch or do both? Or whatever, it doesn't matter, in fact. Maybe.
Well, if when we have some emotion or bundle of emotions to work on, my go-to is the blessing of the energy centers, because those emotions get stuck on our first 3 energy centers, and we need to move that energy all the way to the heart so it gets to the brain. So I put a lot of hard work on that, on blessing, but then maybe when you feel like in a good state, you can also do the boxes, because it helps you, work on your own emotions and at the same time create that new box and fall in love with the feeling of that new box.
Okay.
Make sense?
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
Rachel. Thank you.
Up next, I have a question that I'm going to read for you, Maria. And it is that I would love some clarity if it would be advisable to work with a particular meditation for a period of time or mix meditation practice to keep it fresh. I ask as I've also heard Dr. Joe talk about when he is getting bored, he is getting close to what he is creating. I hope this makes sense. Thank you so much.
And who is that, Sophia?
That's from Ray.
I'm sorry?
That's from Ray.
From Ray. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Ray, for that question. That sounds like it's coming from a student that wants to become a better student. And I think that is a very sincere and loving intention here. And I think it serves us all. I think that we are creatures of habits. So we love having our routine. We love waking up in the morning, going to make our same coffee with the same creamer in the same mug. We love routines. Now, on the other hand, I think that it is so important, Ray, to have a clear intention of what you want to accomplish, of what you want from your experience. Either you have a goal like Titus or like Rachel, or you just want to become better at this, So with that, I would say that it's kind of playing. I like to bring a lot of lightfulness in this work, because sometimes I believe we take life so serious, And then it is like, okay, I haven't done the blessing of the energy center. So Rachel is like, oh my God, I didn't do it. Then I'm going to start feeling more worried. So that's not the way. It is really more about having the intention of raising your energy, having the intention of getting into a way more coherent heart state, so that the heart is going to send a signal to the brain and is going to tell Ray's brain, hey, dude, now it's safe to create. So let's use all of this creative power to do that. And so with that, what I'm trying to say is just play. If you are a person that love routines, find that meditation that you love the most. And sometimes even find that meditation that, you don't like for me, doing the breath. I was telling Sophia, I don't like to do the breath, but you know what? That's the one thing I never miss, because I want more of my future than my past. And I'm here to recondition my body to a new mind. When it's going to happen, I don't even know when it's going to happen, and I don't care. But it is in the process of believing that this work, then it takes me to the process of doing this work until I become someone new, beyond the outcome, beyond the sports car, beyond the happy kids. It is an endless process of becoming. And you said something, or you wrote something very important there, that it is like in the moment you, like you say, you're done, you just stay a couple more minutes, and that's when probably something unexpected is going to happen. But it is more about exploring and expecting the unexpected, or not expecting, because that's when the unexpected happens. Is this making sense? Great.
Since that was a written question, I'll just jump in, because I don't know,
Okay.
they might not be in a space to unmute. And say that I really relate to everything that you're saying, Maria. And in my own experience with the work, like when you're able to find that intersection between playing with it and having fun with it and having that levity, and showing up for yourself every day, showing up and taking yourself a little past where you think you're capable of, that's really where the growth comes, in my experience, because you kind of have those moments where you're like, oh, I'm so tired. Like this morning I woke up, I was like, I'm so tired. I don't know if I want to do the breath this morning. But I put my body in my meditation and I did it. And afterwards it's like, oh wow, I'm capable. I'm capable of rising above whatever limiting belief or program might be surfacing at that moment. And I think that translates to every other area of our life. So just wanted to share a bit of my own experience with that. And next up for questions, we have Carol.
Sophia, can I say something about what you just said? Because I believe it's going to be great for the audience.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys heard Sophia saying, I woke up and then I said to myself, oh, I'm so tired. That is not Sophia's clear intention talking. That is Sophia's body talking. But that's when we have to really, really be super present to, where's my intention? What is it that I want to accomplish? And what is my body saying? And that means the body is always going to take us to the past. Stay 10 more minutes on bed, Sophia. You can start tomorrow. But it was her intention that stood her up and took her to her practice. So that is the conversation between the brain and the body that happens all the time. So whenever you feel you don't want to do something, that is the body that is talking. And you have to remind the body that you are the mind and that you are in control. Yeah, now let's go to the next one, Sophia.
I love that. I love the way that you just broke down that example. So thank you for that, Maria. Up next, Carol.
Thank you for taking my question. My question is about mental rehearsal and then my intention before my meditation, if I'm canceling them out. So my mental rehearsal is, I have a chronic condition, I have cancer. And so my mental rehearsal is being free from cancer and living this incredible life and not having any worry about that. But I do start my meditations. I hover around a couple of intentions: surrender, opening my heart, but also whole health and being free of cancer. And so sometimes I sit down before I do my meditation and go, well, if I'm already living a life of a whole health and cancer free, then why would my intention be that? And am I canceling them out?
Okay, Carol, that is a beautiful, it is a hard, and it's also a beautiful question. So thank you for being vulnerable, and thank you for being here with us today. Now, one important thing about this work. We come to this work because we want change. We want health. We want a new car. We want whatever we want, right? And we believe that this works because there's so many stories of transformation out there. We just need to, I don't even kind of Google anymore. And the moment I open my YouTube, all of these stories of transformation just show up, of people that came to this work and experienced spontaneous remissions and experienced healing and experienced a new life. Now, this is very important for you, Carl, and for everyone that resonates with this conversation. We come to this work because we want to change. And this work is about understanding the neuroscience of change and what we need to do in order to change. The healing is a side effect. The wealth is a side effect. The new house is a side effect. We are here to learn and to become aware of how to change. And in order to change, Carol, you have probably already heard how we say that in order to change, we need to change our personality. We need to change our identity. And that means we need to change how we think. We need to change how we act and how we behave. And we need to change how we feel. And when we start changing those three things, then our biology starts changing. Our neurocircuitry changes. Our neurochemistry changes. Even our gene expression changes because you are someone different. And that starts with you saying, I am something else. And that's the surrender part. When we talk about surrendering, it is about surrendering, letting go of the old mind, letting go of the old Carol that says, I am this condition. You are not that, Carol. You have to let go of that. And it is more about becoming aware. It is more about observing what are your thoughts and how do you react to every thought that you have, and how do you respond to every person, every condition, every circumstance in your life, and saying, you know what, this is my default. I've been observing you for a while, Carol, old Carol. This is a conversation between you. And you're like, you know that, Carol? I'm kind of getting tired of that way that you have. Let me see how else can I respond. Let me see how a Carol that feels more whole, a Carol that is free, a Carol that is light, a Carol that is playful would respond to that. And that's the process between you and you, where you are healing you because you are changing the way you think and the way you act and the way you feel in your everyday, moment. And then you forget about the healing. But just because you stand in this future you where everything is possible, your healing included. And if everyone else in those stories of transformation have been able to do it, Carl, you're special, but you're not that special that it happens to them, and you are the exception of that. You're not that special. You know what I mean?
Yes, thank you.
Something I wanted to just add on to that, we had a really amazing testimonial from one of our scholars in Denver this past year. She was a scholar at the Niagara event in 2022, fall of that year. And I connected with her in Denver. And she said that she came to the event because she had dealt with Lyme disease, mast cell activation syndrome, was homeless, was a single mother, was her body was having a complete, essentially a allergic reaction to life. Like if you're familiar with mast cell activation syndrome, it's a histamine related disorder where your body is essentially allergic to stress and allergic to life. And it was, she was experiencing it to the most intense degrees. And she said that what really shifted everything for her was when she got to a point at the event where she stopped wanting to run marathons and make $1 million. And she just wanted to be a good person and a good mother. And she said that when she finally really switched her intention to that, her heart blew open and all of the healing and the manifestation followed. And today she's completely healed from all of her health conditions. She's abundant, she's free. It's like it's witnessing another person. And I'll share the link to that testimonial if you guys want to hear the whole thing, but it reminds me so much of this question. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. I love that example because it also speaks to the fact that we are all human. And if we put within within ourselves the task of getting healed, I think it's tough. It is really tough. So it is more about maneuvering and finding that thought, that person, that memory that feels easy for us to connect from a different emotion. And then it starts creating this ripple effect. And then your heart starts getting more energy. So it has some kind of smart management, if I may call it that way, Carol.
Thank you.
I love your smile. Thank you, Carol.
Up next, it looks like we have Sandra. If you want to come off of mute, I have your question answered.
Yes, sorry for the camera, and sorry for my English. I have two questions. One is why there is a lot of energy centers meditation. I don't know for which one I have to start. When this one is the little question. And the other question is, I have a project with my husband, and we're starting. I do the work since 2022. I went to Cancun in February, and my husband he doesn't want to know about that. But after he saw about something little creation that I made, he started to read the books and start a little meditation. But I have a question because he's very connected to the news and how the country is bad and the economy and everything. And I tell him that we have to focus on creation, not on 3D dimension. So I am very, I don't know how to do the work, or maybe I do the work, but he's because he's very reality. He's focused in reality, in supposed
he's
reality.
Very 3D focused.
Yes. So, but he wants to do the work, but he's so I don't know if we want to create together, but I have to create by myself, or I can't manage this. I don't understand how, if I have to do the work only me, or I don't know.
Okay,
Please.
okay, Sandra. And I hear that you want to share this with your husband, and I hear that you want to create a new future for both of you, regardless of where your husband is. So that is first very honorable. I hear that you're not interested in changing your husband. So if you want to keep your husband, this is a couple of tips that I may give you by using this work. And this is, it has to do with the understanding that your husband lives in the normal world all the time. And by honoring and accepting and loving him in the way he is the first step. Because as we have been talking about how emotions become the glue that connect us to other people in our lives, it is very important that you remain on the watch of what are the emotions that are connecting you with your husband. You have to keep that canvas clean, Sandra.
Okay.
One thing. Then the other, we need to take your husband, and I hope he's not hearing us here. We need to take him. We need to take him outdoors. So, and you need to invite him to the beach or to the lake or to the mountain. So he opens his focus. He goes from this narrow focus on the news, on the problems, on the devaluation, on, you know, all these crazy things that happen outside of us that we have no control. We have zero control of what's going on out there. But you take him out of that narrow focus and you just invite him to open his focus. This is just his eyes, opening his focus to nature, to the sky, to the sea, to the ocean, to the lake. His brain waves, Sandra, are going to start slowing down naturally, without any pill, without any drug, just naturally. And the more you spend time with him there, the more you take him out, even for an hour, or even for a day, or for a weekend, his brain waves are going to start slowing down, and he's going to start getting into a more creative state, and he's going to start worrying less about what's going on outside of him, and he's going to start getting more in tune with the conversations that you both can have around that book, around that project, around the impact of that little project, what that can have in the world around you, in the community that you come from. Make sense?
Okay, so I continue do the work by my work.
You do your work.
Yes, I respect his because I understood that I can't ask him to do what I
we
ask.
cannot push.
No? Yes, I understood a lot of time ago. So for this reason, he started to see what I read, what I have a little creation with my meditation. So I started to see what I am doing. So he started by himself. No, so that's right. So I start because I wonder that maybe his negative energy is going to is going to
influence
yes,
your efforts.
Yes, so we are not going to arrive to anywhere. It's like plus and minus are going to zero, so we're not going to arrive. That was my question too, no?
Yeah, and that is also very important. And this is something that I discuss a lot with Heelys during live events. There's no way, Sandra, that the energy of love is weaker than the energy of disease, or is weaker than the energy of wholeness, that is weaker than the energy of oneness. We have learned that the energy of love is at the top of the top, is that energy that bonds all the planets, everything around us, you included. So there's no way that energy is going to influence your energy. But there's all way that you are going to influence his energy without him knowing. You know, he's just going to feel inspired about you. And the same as we were discussing with Rachel a few minutes ago, the more you do your work, the field that you're creating around you is going to influence the guy that is right by your side. And he's going to enjoy more being with you than with the news.
Yes.
But that's something that needs to happen at his own pace. Your husband is a very smart guy. He chose you.
Yes.
Maybe not consciously, but he did. He did his choice,
Yes.
and I think he made the best choice.
Yes. Now you told me something that I see clearly. Love is the powerful energy. Is the powerful so Jesus had 3 meters or more than of energy of love around him. So nothing. Yes, you have reason. Thank you very much. Yes, it's clearly now. I don't have any doubt. And if you can answer why there is a lot of energy centers meditation, please.
Okay.
And which one I have to start?
The blessing of the energy centers meditations, there are many because they have been evolving as Dr. Joe evolves his own work. And he always says that we should start with the basic ones, probably the first ones, before hitting on the most advanced ones. But if you're already an advanced student, if you have already attended a week-long event, you have the understanding of what 1, 2, 3 means. So I would say just play with it. Sometimes, I just scroll down in my Dropbox library, and I said, I'm just going to do the one that matches my finger, and that's what I do. It's just playing a little bit with it, Sandra.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Maria. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandra.
Awesome. So it's just about time for us to hop into the meditation, but I'd love to take one more because I know we still have some hands raised. So Deanna, if you want to come off of mute as our last question today.
Hi, thank you so much for taking my question.
Hey, Deanna.
Hi, Maria. I find when Dr. Joe says to feel an emotion in the meditation, that the only way I can get to that emotion is by saying that emotion in my head. So I feel like I'm going to my analytical mind instead of staying in the feeling or being instead of being in that feeling. So how can I bring up the emotion without having to sort of speak it in my mind? Is that possible? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, and I find myself all the time in that space, Deanna. And can I ask you what emotion, if you can think of one, that you would like to feel more and think less?
Well, I would say love would be, unconditional love.
Okay. So we start a meditation with our eyes open, and we have all this stimuli that is coming to our brain from everything we have been experiencing up to that moment, right? And it is really more about teaching our brain to focus on what we want to focus on. Because, our brain is a memory bank. It's full of memories and thoughts and stimuli and things coming in and coming out. But just knowing, Deanna, that it's okay that you have all those thoughts, and that thoughts are the language of the brain and feelings are the language of the body. And then how you think and how you feel is what is creating that reality that you're in right now. So what I would say is, if before getting into the meditation, you have a clear intention, because then you're instructing your brain, in this case, your frontal lobe. Hey, Deanna, today I'm going to work on, let's say, wholeness. Or today, I want to work on just ease. I'm going to have a busy day. I need ease. So you focus on something, and maybe it can be an emotion. Or it can be, I don't know, whatever you want. But maybe as your question is more about feeling the emotion, you can say, I'm going to focus on this emotion. This is the emotion that I want. This is the emotion that I want to just dive in just for this meditation. So that's the instruction that you're giving your brain, your frontal lobe. And then when you close your eyes and you start slowing down your breathing, you are training the animal, Diana. You are training your brain just to focus. And maybe you can say, I'm just going to focus on my air coming in and the air coming out. And just on that subtle noise, but you're just focusing on that. And the moment you see yourself thinking about your neighbor, you come back to the sound of the air coming in and the air coming out. And sometimes what I also do is like I try to match the beat in the music of the Dr. Joe's meditation with the beat of my heart. Sometimes there are drums, sometimes there's a beat, and I try to match that. What I have noticed is because I'm bringing my attention inside, and where you put your attention is where you put what?
Energy.
Your energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more about focusing on something that that as long as you stay there, the energy is going to build there. And then all of these amazing chemicals are going to start releasing just naturally. I'm not saying this is your case, that if instead of that, you're putting your attention on your neighbor is going to take that energy and she doesn't even know. And you are not, cultivating that energy for you. And that's why we need the attention here on our heart. And it's going to happen naturally. It doesn't matter how long you have to wait for that to happen, but it's going to happen. That's when the thought becomes the experience, because all of a sudden your heart is going to start like kind of, there's this sensation that it starts growing or building, and that is going to drive a different set of chemicals in your body. And how do you know that happens, Diana? Because you're going to start feeling different. You're going to start feeling love out of nowhere. You may even start crying just because of the music. You just don't know. But you are influencing the chemical continuity in your own body.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, so I've just focused on love, even though I'm using my brain, you're saying I'm going to train my body to eventually be able to really feel it without having to think love first. It'll just automatically come up. Is that what you're saying?
That is my theory as a student.
Okay.
That is maybe something that you can try and see, because if it hasn't worked the way you have been doing it, maybe it's good to pivot a little bit and practice it this other way, and then you let me know.
Okay. No, I just find like with the blessing of the energy centers, for example, I'll focus on creativity when I'm in 1, and then safety and security when I'm in 2. And it's like, I just feel like I'm in my mind all the time with it, as opposed to feeling the feeling.
Okay. It's less on the thinking that you want, more on the feeling.
Yes.
Okay. So a tip for that one, I'm sorry, Sophia, just give us 1 more minute.
No worries.
It is when you start focusing your attention on 1, it's like if you're rubbing your palms, your hands, and then you start sensing the space between your hands.
Mm-hmm.
So you do that with every single energy center. You put your attention on each energy center, and then you start seeing like an air balloon around each center and sensing the space around each center. Not thinking, just sensing. when you sense the space, you can play with it in the same way that Sandra is going to take her husband out there to sense the space, to open the focus. Your analytical mind is going to start slowing down. If you see yourself thinking, it's okay. You're just in your analytical mind, meaning you're in beta. You just need to slow down your brain waves. And the way you slow down your brain waves is either going out with Sandra's husband and Sandra, or sensing the space around each center. Just imagine a
Okay.
beach ball.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, this is helpful because that, gives me, yeah, very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome, Diana.
So now that we've had a great refresher and been able to dig into a lot of common themes that come up to people and that I've definitely been experiencing myself, we thought that it would be fun to kind of focus our intention on a meditation about generating joy. So it's summertime. I think we can all benefit from some lightness and some levity. So we will cue up Dr. Joe's Generating Joy meditation. If you want to kind of sit back, get relaxed, and we'll get this going in about 30 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us today. This was a very informative session, and it's special to be able to all connect in community, because I'm biased, but I really think that we have the best community, and we want to really make it an effort to connect and set aside time to really come together in this way, to practice, to deepen our understanding of the work, and to be here together. So with that in mind, Maria and I are going to be doing these sessions every other month, just about. So our next session is going to be on August 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern. So trying to kind of accommodate different time zones and work schedules, and we'll kind of jump back and forth between the midday and the evening sessions. So thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Maria, for your guidance, your wisdom. It is always a pleasure. And we will see you all in August.